Well, that was fun. Hey, Sam.
Try number 2.
Yeah, well, it's been a long day, been a long week. And we're not drunk this time.
And we won't be getting drunk.
Ever again. We're
No.
going completely sober or abstaining from alcohol. Remember when you did that?
I do.
It was really annoying.
Although I am going to a bar
Unfun
tonight.
Sam.
Yeah, well, had to do it for a period of time, I guess.
Unfun Sam. It was a lot of fun when you would just black out and
I didn't
cause
black
fights.
out that much. I would cause fights.
You would cause fights. You pick fights with just random strangers. They'd be minding their own business, small, sometimes bigger, and you would request backup, and I was like, this is stupid. What are you doing? And then sometimes you would pick on smaller guys.
I was bored. I don't have a better explanation than that.
That's what I remember when I was kind of a dickhead freshman year.
I do.
Yeah. And then sophomore year I mellowed out because I had things to do.
And you got off steroids?
Well, that was on the inside of freshman year. I didn't go into college and someone was like, hey kid, you want steroids?
I wouldn't put it past you.
I wish someone did that. I did, however, meet the guy that would eventually put me on steroids the same week, because turns out if you go to the gym every day, you meet the same people every day.
Yeah.
Typically.
I remember one time I took an edible and I was laying on your dorm
How
room
big?
floor. I don't know. This was 6, 7 years ago. But I was laying on your
20,
dorm room floor.
100?
I don't know, it was a cookie someone made. You don't know
Did
how
I
much.
make it?
I think you might. It came from you.
It was definitely 100.
So I was laying
And
on
I
the-
gave it to you as a gift.
It was me and Tyler.
Okay.
Laying on the dorm room floor. And I'm trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. And next thing I know, you're just ass naked in your dorm room door. It's open. And you're just swinging your dick back and forth.
The helicopter.
That was around the time you started taking steroids.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was a man's floor. I was allowed to do that.
Did they specifically say you could stand naked in the doorway?
No, but it was my room, my floor.
Alright.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, don't take steroids if you're 18 years old and already aggressive.
or take a lot and do them right. I did them wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. What have you been up to this week?
Oh man, training people. Honestly.
Training people?
Yeah, you know, my job.
Okay.
I took over the social media for the gym I work at, Vision. So I've been going through kind of marketing stuff.
Hey,
Yeah.
I need to get the camera from you before I forget that you took pictures.
Oh, it's over there.
Yeah. Okay.
The camera has.
Just I need to mention it now because it hit my head. I'm like, oh my god, I forgot for the past 2 weeks.
It has his engagement pictures on
Yeah.
it.
That are really good.
Hopefully.
Oh, that's what I told Rachel. They're really good.
But you know, just been training people. I just started working with a new client. He is 32.
Where does he live? Just
Here.
security.
No. He lives in Cincinnati. He's a Marine veteran, and he runs a nonprofit called 22 Until Valhalla. And that organization basically helps work with veterans to prevent veteran suicide through introducing them to jiu-jitsu and adventure sports such as like climbing, mountaineering, and basically 22 Until Valhalla.
Where do you mountaineer in Ohio?
You gotta go.
Okay. It's like, Jesus, wait, what? I was like,
They take trips. But 22 Until Valhalla is going to be using Vision as their home gym. They're transferring where they're training now into Vision. And I started working with the guy that founded the organization. It was funny because when we were going through like the list of injuries he's had, because you always have to ask people you're training, what injuries did you have, do you take into account? He's going like, I have 3 slip discs in my back, I got tinnitus, I got no hearing in my left ear. He's like, I got a skin graft from being blown up out of the back of my right calf. I had a traumatic brain injury. And he tells me his shoulder was separated, his other shoulder was separated. And then he says at the end of all that list, he goes, you know, nothing major.
yeah, what can you do?
He can Dude, his form on a lot of stuff is really good.
Yeah.
But it was just funny as shit, because I'm like, any single one of those things for most people would be like, I'm done, I'm out, I'm not working out, I'm not training jujitsu,
Right? To get out.
But this dude's like, oh yeah, it's nothing major. And I was like, yeah, as long as you can just stand and walk, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can do curls if you broke your foot. I know a guy, you know a guy, and I'm not going to say it there because that's not fair, but recently someone fell off of a 15-foot concrete wall thinking they could climb it because they recently have newfound energy and fitness that they haven't had in years, and they tried running up it, and
Is it you?
it's not me. I'm walking fine. This guy's got like a blown out meniscus and a bruised right heel, and we were doing so great with our training.
You go ahead and tell me after who this is.
Yeah, it's in our fraternity.
I think I know.
Yeah. Yeah. He lives on the West Coast.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
What a bummer.
It happens. And then, yeah, dude, it's just, you don't want to fall. Falling sucks. You don't want to fall. As an adult, you definitely should have learned to fall before you were over 4 feet tall. And if you're a midget or a short person, or whatever's politically correct. Little
Which
person.
sounds worse, but I'm not in any position.
Yeah, they're not midgets, but they're small people.
They're little people.
Small people. And with big muscles, and if you fall over, well, I'm saying big muscles, so, but
Where are you going with this?
okay, so if you fall over, you need to learn how have fallen prior to that, because there's a way to tuck your shoulders and a way to like tuck your head to brace yourself. Other than some of the catastrophic falls that I've seen my friends take from me pushing them. Because when you first came to college, that's gonna have to stop. When you first came to college, I remember pushing you into a puddle, and you did exactly what you shouldn't do. Is just put your arms straight.
Was I fine?
Yeah, but it was a puddle, it was muddy, and you slip and slip.
You know what the trick was? I was drunk. If you're
Yes.
drunk, you're just all loose. It's better to get into a car crash drunk than sober.
You know it's easier to push than like trying to get people to do push-ups and sit-ups and like
Yeah.
is you should just day drink. We should just drink on every podcast.
Is this cat gonna shut the fuck up?
My vet said that you shouldn't yell at the cat and you shouldn't say loud things because they learn to fear you, which makes sense. So you should take a toy and throw it to distract it. But he didn't say specifically you couldn't throw it at it, and he didn't say you couldn't use hard toys.
A cat definitely freaks me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna happen. You know, I helped Tyler move into his 1-bedroom apartment for this week. Oh shit, this week. I'm sorry, I didn't
Don't
mean
push
to.
the table.
I won't push the table. We're sorry, everybody. But yeah, I helped him move this week. It was. He's got so little shit,
Yeah.
but such poor organizational skills. Because like he'll take boxes and half fill them, like book box. I'm like, can it be book box and school pen box or like something else? Like you literally have a pen box here, you have a shoe box. Like fill the fucking container, Tyler. And yeah, and he's so meticulous about not bumping into shit and everything, which is cool. But the table and everything we're carrying, I'm like, dude, the wall is gonna be fine. This thing's a piece of shit. I'm worried, like, yeah, like he's like, don't scratch anything. I'm like, we can't scratch a bed. Fine, just come on, muscle this. I think he was just exhausted from his vaccine.
He didn't ask me to help him move.
Okay. This is the Gatorboy and Silverback podcast. Jesus, what the fuck just came out? Who do you call in a time of need when you need to lift heavy things?
Oh no, I'm happy he didn't ask me to help him
Silverback.
move.
Who do you call when you need to bite things open? Or eat children out of ponds in Florida?
Yeah, I can do that.
2-year-olds out of strollers. Dude, I need to stay away from a couple of words. fucking like double syllable or double.
Yeah, your own
letter.
nickname. That's a big one. You can't say that again. Fuck that up. Oh man, but yeah, what you started that challenge? That's going
well. Yeah, everybody's participating. We're getting a lot of people that have already reached out and said, "But this is exactly what I needed as far as information and something as far as focus and structure." Because I think I feel like I've over provided. I put a lot of work into it as far as putting out the content and having structure to it. I've got a guy coming on tonight to talk over Sleep Nick Reel, and we're going to be just doing a live podcast. I'm doing like a live training tomorrow for any Q&A for anybody who has some questions over their macros and how to set them up at this point. And then Monday, a training. So like I've been doing a lot. So I think people are having fun. I think it's going to be fun.
It's good. I've been seeing the posts. It seems that people are actually doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good sign because it would have sucked if I would have put in all this work and then, just done.
How are you judging the winner? I'm gonna kill that cat today.
Yeah, I'm gonna line them up and that cat's gonna walk up and, I'm judging it based off of engagement, who's actually showing up. So I have an Excel sheet of who's doing the daily challenges, who's keeping track of the weekly challenges. You know, if you can't, it's a fucking picture is at most what I'm asking for, or to introduce yourself, or a quick 2 minutes out of your day. And the things that I'm asking of you are going to direct you or put your focus on whatever our task is. If that's tracking, like today was you got to post your favorite high protein snack, whatever that is. Post a picture down below in the comments, and yeah, if you post that picture, at least you're thinking of what your favorite high protein snack. And if you don't have an idea,
You gotta go
now,
find one.
well, no, now you have an entire list of comments. I don't care if you recopy. That's the whole point is to get better. So I can tell, like I'm a pretty good judge of bullshitters, I'd like to think. So if you're showing up and you're putting in the effort, and I've seen where you've gone from when I first met you, or where I've seen, or I kind of knew you previously, or if you came into the challenge, you've made real progress, because everybody's taking progress photos and everything too, then, and you've done the things I've said, then that's how I'm going to base it off of who's going to win. And then as far as if someone's like tied, or if there's a couple ties here and there, then I have the opportunity to offer whatever else after that. So there'll be a grand prize that I can do.
I was gonna wonder, is there a second place, a third place?
There can be. So if something, I have it. That's not planned. There's a grand prize, and I will base it off of then the daily challenges and off the total numbers and everything else, and objectively or subjectively make that decision. Because again, I'm having people take progress photos. So, if it comes down to it, did
You're
you
gonna judge their bodies.
Don't judge your fucking bodies? It's goddamn bodybuilding.
Dude, sometimes when I'm working with people, I'll like be intensely, and this is more with female clients than male clients. Like I'll be like watching their bodies, and I start to feel creepy. And then I'm like, you shouldn't be doing that. And I'm like, no, you literally have to be doing that for your job. Like
Yeah, as long as you're looking at the correct places. But
you know what I mean? It's an odd thing.
unfortunately, though, and the thing is it freaks a lot of females out if they come to group fitness classes, to mine especially at first, because I am going to stare at you and watch how your movement is, and I'm very comfortable doing that because I've done it with multiple people at this point. Like, it's not something, it's my job now. That's how I see it. It's not something weird. If you're pulling, I'm sure the first time you pull someone over as a police officer, or the first time you put out a fire as a fireman, it's your first time, it's weird. Or first time in the ring or anything like that, it's weird. Like it's
Well, the first time.
But at the same time, when you're getting watched for the first time, it feels weird because who the fuck's ever watched you like that and that intensely, and he's staring you up and down, and he's actually like, no one does that, and you're supposed to just do the exercise in front of you. That's why I usually try to stand from the side, but even then they'll see me in the mirror and they'll pay attention and everything else. But it's, unfortunately, with a lot of women, their knees cave in and their chest drops and everything else. So where you have to fix and touch and be able to provide what you always form, you say, hey, I'm going to touch you here on the shoulder, brace your hand here. You've got to tell them that, but at the same time, it's usually a built-up confidence, and the way I like to do is I never do it with a first-timer. You know, give them simple exercises. I always make sure they're movements that they can always do, everybody can do, and then from there get it in feel for if I can do it in future sessions, if they even want to be touched. Some people just don't want to be touched, which is fine. But then I'm not going to teach you the highest level of a bench press or how to really engage into a Bulgarian split squat and different things like that, because I need to be able to push on your knee. I need you to be able to feel where I want you to engage and pull down your lats. And then if you're not comfortable with me touching you, that's fine. Then we're going to stick with more machines, more movements that I can know that you have the confidence to form. So.
With my clients and classes that I run, you know, I have certain cues that if there's a guy doing something.
Do you know, for the longest time, I would read that word, and I wouldn't know how to say it.
Cue?
Yeah, I didn't know how to spell it. I knew what the word was, and I would spell it C-U-E, and I'd be like, it's a pull cue.
Nope.
Yeah, I know to this day, but like when I first started, like it took me at least 2.5 years of training before I officially knew how to spell Q. For everybody out there that has the same, I'm not the only fucking idiot. I know it. It's Q-U-E. Jesus Christ, right? No. I don't know how to spell Q.
Yeah, I see that.
Do you?
Why do you think I've remained quiet on this topic?
Q-U-E.
I think that might be it.
Honestly, I will. We have 49 listeners, and we're gonna have 55 after this week because you're gonna tell your friends, and not all of you. We're just hoping that like fucking 5 of you do. So we're gonna have 55, and then maybe they'll push 2 over because I'm husband and wife. Anyway, one of you motherfuckers is gonna win a shirt next week that I'm gonna buy off of him if you can comment in the comments below how to spell Q correctly.
Or send us on Instagram or something. Just be like, hey, this is how you spell Q.
A comparison side by side.
Not gonna
I want to
look it up.
see pull Q because I know that, but I need to see the visual, something I can save.
I want to say it's 5 letters.
It is. I just don't know how to do it.
But what I was gonna say was my cue is like if I have someone doing something where they might be like bench pressing sideways off a bench with their body
What the fuck are you doing?
stability.
Bench pressing sideways off a bench.
It's like your shoulders are on the bench, but like your ass is in the air. You have to engage it, tighten everything, engage the core.
A bridged bench press.
Yeah. So if we're doing a bridge bench press, and their hips are starting to drop down. If it's a guy, I'll right away be like,
Put a bucket of water under.
I'll be like, bring your asshole through your dick. And every time they're like, oh, I got it. But if it's a woman, I'm like, shit, I can't say that.
Because your glutes drive down through your heels.
Yeah, I get that. But like, if I'm just like, bring your asshole through your dick, it does exactly that. They'll do that based off of it. But you can't be like, bring your asshole through your pussy.
Pretend you have a dick.
But anyway, you're having a talk tonight about sleep.
I am.
And I think
You've been having wet dreams. Want me to ask him about it?
No.
Hey Nick, I'll ask you tonight about Sam's wet dreams.
I want to talk a little bit about warm up and recovery. I know sleep's an important aspect of recovery.
Awesome. This is going to be our last ad then, so we're going to
Our
be
last fake ad.
Yes, we're gonna have ads next week. I'm very excited. We're gonna, like I said, once we bridge over that 50 listener mark, we're gonna have real ads.
I don't know what they're gonna be for.
You guys,
I don't know how it
What do you
works.
guys want?
No,
do you guys
no,
want candle?
no, that's not how that works.
That's not how it works.
No,
Okay,
they
we'll
matches
sell whatever.
us with things in the
We'll sell
demographic.
whatever. We'll sell whatever. Anyway, we're going to commercial break. And bang.
Why don't I pause that? Oh, it's just gonna make it way easier to cut it there.
Yep. Okay. Commercial. Hold on. Commercial break. Go right into it, and we'll just. Where's that at?
1942.
Okay. Write that down somewhere.
I'll text it to
Okay. We are going to talk about
you. Sam's gonna take a fucking piss.
heel protein. Okay, it's fine. I'm just gonna play, and then you can. I'll press pause
So
again.
this is what you have to do. You hit R,
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 Not R. Space.
No.
R.
R.
Okay. I got R.
R to hit record, space to stop.
This is gonna be
recording.
great.
R to hit record, space to stop recording.
Got it. R and space. Space and R. All right. This is brought to you by Live Forever, Die Whenever. If you live life on the edge, if you play music in dirty bars, if you bang hookers over scratched up couches, if you live in the moment, then you need to buy a shirt from Sam Phillips from Live Forever, Die Whenever. Because we have the best, the softest, the most sought after shirts in all of the world. And if you don't have one, it's kind of like a fuck you to us and a fuck you to, honestly, whatever you believe in, whatever your highest power is, it's a fuck you to them because they believe in Live Forever, Die Whenever. Because the motto here is that, again, live life on the edge. I'm sorry. This was unexpected. I did not realize Sam was going to come in for this commercial, and he's here listening to it now. He's going to get to listen to us later, and you should buy all the shirts because...
And rash guards.
Rash guards, and tampons, and condoms, and everything that you could ever need and find at a 7-Eleven. You can fill your cart now at liveforeverdieWhenever.com/dicks.
It's a bad ad.
Space.
What the fuck did you do? Oh, that's from the previous day. Okay.
That was a good ad.
Freaked out.
That was a good one.
I'm sure. Okay.
Okay, you got your questions up? Okay, people, we're sorry about the...
Terrible ad that I did not
Yeah,
sign
well, like
off
I said, we'll have real writers, real ads next week, but here are the questions.
We're not going to have real writers. I think we still have. I don't know. We'll find out. I don't know how many
I've never been asked.
So, first, we're going to talk about how to warm up for your workout.
Properly.
Yeah. End of question.
Not wrongly.
But there's a lot of
Because a lot of you
information.
motherfuckers get on treadmills and
Yeah.
ellipticals.
Or
Bikes. Ooh!
Uh-huh.
Jinx.
Yeah, the first thing is cardio warm-ups. They're incredibly common, especially with personal trainers. They have the people get on a bike or a treadmill or whatever for 10 minutes to start the hour that they're working today. Why are you touching
I don't want to talk too much shit about this because I know the answer to this immediately because I give it to you.
Uh-huh.
Some people you just don't want to fucking put the effort into. And you're like, please just get on that cardio machine.
Oh, you see, I don't do that because I handpick my clients. I only work with people that I like.
Do ya? Do ya? You never get someone that comes to your classes, you know what? I don't do jumping jacks.
No, I actually really like all the people in the classes
Really?
because it's the same group of 25 over and over, and I know them all really well at this point.
Fair enough.
And then with individual people, I almost entirely in person work with fighters or competitors.
Just branch out.
Have fun with this. But cardio warm-ups
Can be effective.
if you don't want
Sometimes.
to train the person. No, I don't tend to do it, and what I tell a lot of my clients is that your cardio will get up through what we're doing, but I'm not going to spend the time coaching you to do assault bike intervals because you can do that on your own. You know, I can tell you this is how long I need you to go for it at this percentage. This is how long I need you to go for it this percentage, right? I don't need to be, or if you want to get better wrestling cardio, just go fucking wrestle.
Well, warming the body's core temperature up can have a lot of effect on being able to do movements prior to going into a workout. So it's better than just going in absolutely cold and stepping out of your car and walking into a gym and squatting.
But you could do dynamic warm-ups.
You could!
And that, I find, is a significantly better option
So much better.
than just being on a bike.
What do you do?
It depends on the
Depends on the day
day. Because
and what you're doing.
Exactly. Because, you know, if you're doing hip hinge movements, maybe you want
What's
your
that hip
dynamic.
hinge movement?
It's like a deadlift.
It's like a deadlift or it is a deadlift.
It's basically exactly
It's
a
dead.
deadlift.
Yeah, it is a deadlift.
Or a kettlebell swing.
Exactly.
And if you're gonna do that, it would probably be a good idea
to warm up the hips,
to warm up the hips, not
Especially
just
if
the
you
hip
have-
hinge movement, but the hips in general.
the adductors,
Mm-hmm.
the low back,
The low ass.
the lats. Because if you're doing a deadlift, you're going to want to make sure that you roll your lats and engage your lats. Because again, going off of, was it last week, 2 weeks ago? I don't know. My weeks are coming together. But we talked about how the deadlift is an entire posterior chain, or was it the squat? I don't fucking know.
I think that was last week.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, people, you want to make sure that you're warming up the muscles that you're actually going to use. Would it make sense to warm up your lower body and then go do bench press?
Not particularly.
No. But I see a lot of people do it. They'll jump on a bike and they'll spin their little pedals around
I'm
for
trying
like
to go max
15
out a bench press.
and go max out a bench press and be like, I can't believe I tore my labrum. I.e. Tyler.
I can. I can kind of believe that.
Yeah.
But honestly, one of the big things that I include every time that I'm going to work out in a dynamic warm up is I'm going to roll my ankles by going from my heel outside my entire foot to my big toe, then over to my little toe, back to my heel, and I'll go each direction, each foot 10 times, both ways. Because basically everything that you're going to be doing, you have to be based on the ground. You know, it comes from the bottom up a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So if your ankles, especially if you're squatting, you have to warm up your ankles.
Well, if you want to start, I just general warm up for most people that I can get everything warmed up with them, and it's always with dynamic warm ups and dynamic movements. You're not doing a static hold like you would go down into a lunge or hold your toes like you're traditionally taught in your gym and PE class, but you're going to be doing movements that for reps. So you're going through trying to extend and reach the end range of your movement, create tension, and then switch, go into the next move or the next side. If you're doing a unilateral movement or if you're doing a bilateral movement, just doing reps of it. But things like going in through thread the needle to open up the thoracic spine, going into a lizard with rotation, and even a lizard with a rolling movement to open up the knees and the hips, going into an up dog to down dog, and then coming into a Hindu squat or something that's opening up again from the standing, but working from the ground up. But to warm up the entire body, you're going to want to do 10 to 20 reps, whether that's 10 if you're doing per side, but 20 if you're doing squats, just to warm everything up. And maybe that takes you a little bit. Maybe
It
that
might take that 10 minutes you're going to be on the bike.
but maybe that's your entire workout, because I've had clients where we take the entire 30 minutes, 45 minutes, we have to stretch. That's their workout, because if you're a new beginner, working at it, that is a lot of movement to do everything, but it opens you all up and allows you to get in better positions for when you get into the squat. Now, as you get a little bit more advanced, or you've gone through it a couple times, it should speed up. It should be something more routine, and you can go right into it and do it prior to your movement, because you don't want to tire yourself out and lose the benefits of the actual workout.
I'm going to talk about my favorite dynamic warm-up that bridges into the workout.
Jumping jacks.
No. Bear crawls. I
One of
feel
those
bear
people.
crawls at the beginning of workouts.
That's why you don't have a lot of clients.
No, it depends
They get
on
to the bear
person.
crawls and they're like,
Like,
huh,
fuck,
okay.
there's more? No, the guy that hates it the most is still working with me, so. But my progression of bear crawls is if I'm working with someone new entirely, I'll have
Human
them.
centipede style and
Well,
that.
I have them bear crawl forward, but I also have people bear crawl backwards because I think that there's not enough, movement
Pain,
backwards that people.
suffering.
It's not that bad. But when I get super advanced with people, I'm gonna have them bear crawl forward, let's say 25 yards, and then they're gonna do 8 to 10 sit-ups on each side, and then they're gonna bear crawl backwards back to the beginning point, and then do 8 to 10 scorpions, which is kind of like the reverse of a sit-out. You kick your leg over and back and open up, and they're gonna do that 8 to 10 on each side. It's a bitch. It sucks, but you'll be ready to go. It's a full body dynamic warm up. It works the hips.
I
It
feel
gets
like
your
I'm
arms
gonna
ready.
build a bigger sweat opening up my thighs eyes and just punched myself in the dick multiple times. Because that bear crawl shit sounds awful.
It's terrible, man.
Yeah, I want to build up a bigger sweat, just fucking BME, fucking Pain Olympics, bang, 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 bang. And guess what? By the time I get through that, I'll be like, yeah, I can squat now.
Here's the thing that's funny. Honestly, if you give me 10 men, 10 women, I'm gonna say that 9 of the women do it better than 9 of the men. One guy will do it better than one of the
What if I
women.
give you like 7.5 men and 2.5 women?
You give me 2.5 men, I think that would go. One of them gets kicked out for asking country.
I like that. All right, so that's what you should be doing to warm up. What should you be doing to recover though, to stretch? Because here's the thing, your recovery, your stretching just doesn't end there. There is a time and place to do that down to your toes shit, to stretch and make tension, to hold things for time. And when is that?
You can either do it directly at the end of the workout.
You should.
You should.
If you have the time,
But if you
should
don't
make
have
it
the
part of it.
time,
Everybody has the time.
it depends.
You always have the time because it should be part of your workout. The reason being is because you want to, especially as a beginner, and even as someone that's advanced, you want to solidify a lot of the movements and pathways that you just established, especially if you're doing compound movements such as the squat, the deadlift, presses overhead, or anything like that. Because in these tension poses going down and you're doing like an up dog for time, or a down dog for time, going into a wrestler bridge, but you're holding these movements to where you're creating tension, internal tension within the body, and getting your CNS to connect with the muscles that you just used. And that can establish a better muscle building signal, but also not only that, it allows for your muscles to cool down and stop firing so you don't have muscle spasms later.
I never have muscle spasms.
It's great, you're a hydrated guy.
Except for
Drink a
this.
lot of water.
Well, hydration is an important part of
Nice
recovery.
bottle.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's
Like my
also
bottle?
from Fuel. We have the same bottle.
Tyler's trying to offer to me, and I took one. He's like, "You want another one?" I was like,
Why does he have 4?
"Because he buys so much fuel." I guess.
But you touched on hydration there.
I did.
Hydration.
How much water should you have?
Well, technically,
Technically,
the
how much
Mayo
water should
Clinic,
you have?
hang on, the Mayo Clinic says men should have 15.5 cups a day, or liters. Ah, shit, I forgot.
How much they weigh?
That's the problem. It says women is 11.5.
Okay, so why are we listening to the Mayo Clinic all
Right.
the time?
But that's like, highest level of doctors. However, there's obviously a lot of variation in
Okay.
activity, weight, height, body composition, a whole bunch of shit.
This is a simple question, a simple answer. How much water should you have daily?
I believe
It's body weight divided by 2 plus 15 ounces for every half-hour activity you do. That includes walking, sweeping, if you work out for an hour. So if you do 2 hours activity, that's another 60 ounces of water you should have. So body weight divided by 2. Now, if you're obese, you should use your goal body weight.
if
But you do
that's-
need more water because
I find that when you run into a lot of equations,
Simple.
sometimes it gets intimidating for people.
shouldn't be. It's simple.
But it is sometimes.
It's not.
I think you should drink water when you're fucking thirsty, and then when you're not thirsty. Does that make sense?
You should drink 100 ounces a day, given your petite physique.
I drink more than that.
I know
Because of my activity.
because your activity.
Because if I'm training,
I was even accounting for it.
Dude, I fucking weighed 158 the other day. In
Did
the
you?
morning. At like 8:30. And by 12 I was 149. So I'm gonna have to drink more water than that. Because it was all water that came out sweat. You know what I mean? But the
Or drink electrolytes to soak it up, which come from your sea salt, pink Himalayan, because you don't want just your traditional table iodized sea salt because that's not going to get you your minerals and electrolytes. that
Why
you
not?
want. Because it's just
It takes
regular.
you out.
Well, it's just NaCl. It's regular NaCl.
It's not the full molecule.
Well, NaCl, you're still
Composition.
getting it from pink Himalayan, but you want your like boron, your magnesium, your different small trace minerals that are going to come from sources outside of just salt, because those go a long way for functions within the body that people tend to forget about. So,
Well,
what are some stretches?
woo! slap my thigh.
That was a good slap.
It's the second time you touched my thigh.
These are some short shorts, people.
Whose, yours or mine?
Both.
Stretch. We're going back to stretches.
Yeah, we should just. Oh, well, after tension, because what you should do at the end, and this goes for in the warm up too, if you need to, or if you're extremely tight. But you should do some SMR, self-myofascial release, or rolling out on a foam roller, because done at the end, you're breaking up and helping to massage the muscles and break up, and helping to recover what you just did and the damage you've done. Because when you're doing different movements throughout your workout, you are offsetting some of the fibers and muscle fibers, so to roll them and push them, and this is not how this is not how the Mayo Clinic's going to explain it.
It's not how NASM explains it either.
No, fuck them, because that's what they're going to say to me, like, as far as I understand it, what you guys are going to understand, you're pushing the muscle fibers back into how they fucking should be aligned by doing self-massage.
Right. And do you like to do tension stretches after?
Yes.
Get back closer to the microphone.
Yes, I like to do tension stretches after.
Why is that?
Because when you... Did I just go over that with the CNS?
Kind of.
Okay.
But
Well,
why does it come after?
because you don't want... It actually reduces the strength and the firing potential and the firing activation of the muscles. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like I said, you're cooling down. You're trying to shut off the muscle and allow for recovery, to really let the central nervous system allow for the body's muscular system to stop, in a way, spasming and stop firing from what you just made it do through the workout.
Lifting weights is like minorly injuring yourself.
Well, it's damage. You are doing intentional damage. You're intentionally stressing the body so that you can build upon that stress and make it better. You know, progressive overload is what makes you better, and that goes with anything that you're doing. You don't just jump right into the hardest difficult task or the hardest difficult book when you're reading a book or learning to read. Start with children's books. Work your way up for a reason.
When I was 9 years old, I tried to read The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich, which is an 1,100-page book about the history of Nazi Germany.
Yeah.
And my mom went, none of that, took it away from me about 200 pages.
Yeah.
I jumped too far in the future.
I tried to keep up with Tyler and what he was reading, because that guy just went through a book a week. And I was like reading The Grapes of Wrath when I was like a sophomore in high school and different things, which is cool.
That's what you're supposed to be reading it.
It's not what a lot of people are. And I'm just like, huh, what's he doing at the end?
The turtle's a metaphor for what? The dust? What the fuck's a dust bowl?
I just got done reading Hatchet. Let's go back to the Bears and Wolves. And Alone in the Woods. Didn't think about masturbating once. Wish they would have taught me something.
But the last thing that I really want to cover in terms of recovery is what I'm going to call it gimmicks. Not necessarily that they don't work, but that they kind of have like a
Diminishing returns.
yeah, like let's talk about cryo
Benefits on
or
diminishing returns.
saunas or shit like that.
Highly beneficial. If you can afford them, do them, and you do everything else.
Right. It's not a replacement.
It's not a vaccine.
Right. It's not a like flow pods, massages. They're all awesome.
It
and
doesn't just
helpful.
fix everything.
Right. It's not just going to be like, oh, I went to cryo once and now my knee doesn't hurt. It's like,
Or I got a
your knee's
vaccine
gonna hurt.
and now I can't get sick. We definitely lost followers.
I don't know. Maybe you should get that vaccine and then also like work out and go outside. Eat
Maybe you should get the vaccine and then recover too.
You're the safest guy to be around right now,
Yeah, I got my taste back.
unless you get the flu. Oh, does the flu still exist?
Dude, I avoid the flu. Like, I'd rather get COVID. I'll suck COVID out of the pipe before I get the flu. Because COVID takes your taste away. Yes, I got a headache and everything, but
Sucks.
I hate throwing up. Dude, if the throwing up into a toilet doesn't kill me, the gun by my bed certainly will if I have to go through it for more than 4 days.
But hang on, back to the recovery
Yeah, stretching.
or the gimmick stuff.
Gimmicks.
Yeah, like cryo, etc. I've tried cryo. I've tried flow pods. I've gotten massages. I've gone to the sauna. I'd say my two favorite out of those are sauna and massages because I've felt the most direct benefit right away. Saunas are tight, but I also have been able to do those more consistently than I've been able to do like a float pod or cryo. So I'm not necessarily the best test subject because I've done cryo twice and they were spread apart. So I'm not sure that if I did cryo every week, I wouldn't feel a high benefit.
Or every day.
You know, or every day. But at the same time, like all these places that have cryo and float pods,
It's less money.
they're insanely expensive. You know,
I ain't Jeff Bezos.
no, you get like 4 sessions
Or
a
his
month
wife.
for $200. I'm like, I'm not gonna do
Or
that.
his new piece. I'm not any of those people.
You know, you can do though for way cheaper instead of going to cryo. Ice baths.
Yeah, I talked to Rachel about that, about buying an ice machine eventually, and she's like, why? I was like, constant ice baths. And she's like, what? And I'm like, well, you're not going to let me just put a cover and keep an ice bath. You're going to want to use the bath, so I'm going to have a constant ice supply. And she's like, well, you just go to the store. I'm like, heck, it's expensive, so I need an ice machine.
So it's gonna get expensive too with the water. But why do people like saunas and ice baths or cryo?
Because they're easy.
Right. Now, what's the benefit that they have? And most people don't
They're hard.
take this into account. It's
They're
all about,
hard.
like in saunas, like heat shock proteins, right? So it's not that you're sitting in there and just sweating. There is something that is happening to you.
Well, no. I mean, there's benefits, and we can get into them. That's for another podcast in the
We go
future.
deep into saunas
But
and all that shit.
this, right now, no, people do them because they're hard, but they're also easy. They feel like they've done something when they
But you're
actually haven't
sitting on
done
your ass.
anything. That's why you can do it at LA Fitness, and they are like, oh, please, come in, spin our pedals, and then get in the sauna and fuck off. That's their whole model, because they're like, if you touch our weights, literally, your skin, your sweat is going to rust our shit.
Please
and
don't touch
wear
our
it-
weights.
Yeah, pedal, sauna, and fuck off.
Maybe go to the pool.
Yeah, and show up for Pizza Friday.
But dude, the last time I did a sauna
Yeah,
was the day of my weigh-ins,
yeah,
and that shit sucked.
yeah.
I got out and had to sit in my car for like a half hour.
Should that to drive you? I would have probably just been like, I can't drive.
Dude, I was just sitting there. My mom called me and she was like,
It's all
"How you
Rex
doing?"
out.
And I was like, "Not great."
Yeah. All right, people. Well, you can find us and no, you can't find us. You will find us and you will share us because we're gonna get to 50 subscribers because we want some sponsorship from the future sponsors of this podcast.
Whoever you are.
Whoever you are, we'll sponsor whatever. The Apples to Apples Jewish Edition Scrabble. And no,
That
that's
sounds
two
like
different.
the same
Yeah,
thing.
I know, but I'm like, what? It's throwing me off that you have an Apples to Apples
Yeah.
Jewish Edition.
And then also the Jewish Scrabble.
Huh.
You can only make words like goyim. And
It's got extra Q's.
a lot of fucking H's.
All right. All right,
You can find
everybody.
us on Instagram
At yoked_thoughts.
at Gatorboy_66. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. We're gonna be on YouTube. We're on Anchor. We're on something else that I don't remember. But no one listens to us there based on our analytics, so it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, find me on Facebook. I'm on Facebook. I have the Halo Fat Assault System group, and I'm running a challenge in there currently. It's going well. You're too late to join, but you can watch and feel the FOMO for missing out. So fuck off and join the next one.
Check out my website, ftdfit.com.
Buy the shirts from the awesome commercial I did.
And live forever, die whenever. Both those are on my Instagram as well.
Because we live forever and die whenever. Alright. Alright, see you. Cool.